Hello everyone, welcome back to day 8 of 30 days of AWS Cloud Journey. I'm Chayan and today we are deep diving into the serverless world. That is one of the most powerful service of AWS, that is AWS Lambda. So let's first of all learn about what is Lambda, then what is the functions rules, what are the real world use cases of Lambda, and we'll jump to the practical part. So AWS Lambda generally is a serverless computing. We don't need to manage our servers, we don't need to launch any EC2 instances. This thing's already been done by the AWS cloud only. So means you have to just write the functions, you have to upload it, and AWS run it on demand like when the trigger's been generated. Okay, so here the symbols of the Lambda generally takes place and what all those things we generally have. Okay, so in the Lambda, first of all, the things comes place is we have to just write a Lambda function. Okay, the Lambda functions take place and no servers been required. It's a generally name as a serverless. So this is the one of the important key strategies of the Lambda, that is which is the serverless part. So you don't any EC2 instance or a container over here, like AWS takes care of all the infrastructures like scalability, availability, and you can only pay when your code runs. Like suppose my code is running for the only the 1 hour, so you have to only pay for this particular 1 hour only. So everything behind the scenes is been done by the AWS cloud only. Like as I talk about scaling part, then availability part, everything is been done by the AWS cloud only. We don't need to anything worry about the part. Okay, now if I talk about some real world use cases. Okay, if I'm talking about real world use cases, that is mostly used in world use. Okay, so first of all, the use case, that is like if you want to resize your image when the file is uploaded in the S3, we have seen about we upload our some kind of images that is suppose 100 MB. If you want to resize when automatically this has been uploaded to the S3 bucket, so we can resize it by using the writing the function in the AWS Lambda. Okay, second, let's talk about the second example. If you want to run a background process for billing or the logs part, so here the Lambda functions like background process, like we can say. Okay, for the background processes, so here the Lambda functions been used. If I talk about third, if you want to send up in a email when a user sign up, so here we can add up a Lambda function also. Like suppose you got up like when we sign up. Okay, so you have seen like we get a Gmail account, like we get a on a Gmail, like someone has signed up or something has been signed up in this particular account. So where this all comes up, this all comes up from the Lambda functions only, Lambda functions triggers over here. Then if I talk about some more, if you want to connect with the APS part, okay, APS gateway part, so here also the Lambda function has been generally used. Okay, then if you want to automate deployment or monitor any kind of changes, so here also the Lambda function has been used. So these are some real world example where been the Lambda been certainly using by the companies in the industries, by the developer or the DevOps person to automate the processes and to automate the things. Okay, now moving forward, what are the key features of Lambda we generally have? Okay, so let's about some of the cool key features. So first of all, the key features is it basically is serverless. Okay, as I talk about, it's a serverless. We don't need to okay, it says serverless. We don't need to manage any kinds of servers over here. It's a serverless part. Then it automatically scales, handles to 1 to 1 million requests. Okay, automatically. Like suppose the traffic is suddenly increasing. Okay, suppose right now we have 10 nodes have been working or 10 kinds of requests been there. So it will automatically scales to 10 million to 10 thousands to 10 millions to kind of whatever the traffic comes in play. So automatically scales features has been there. Then third, like it supports many languages. Like there's no language barriers like only Python. It supports all the languages, like we have Python, okay, we have Go, we have Java, we have Node.js. So all this language has been supported by this particular uh, Lambda function. Then pay only when you use. I just talk about when you are using, we have to pay out that particular time only. Don't need to pay for the 2 hours, 3 hours, or if you are using for the only the 1 hours part. Okay, suppose I'm just using for the 1 hour, so I have to pay only for this particular 1 hour only. Then it can be easily integrated with the services like we have services like S3, we have API gateway, it can be easily integrated and we can easily make out the things. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's quickly jump to the practical part and let's understand how you can just quickly create your Lambda functions, how you can integrate the things. So let me quickly switch. This is my AWS terminal. Let me quickly search for Lambda, or here I can get you, but I'm just going from here for your easy flow. You have to go to here as a Lambda. Okay. Then here you will find this kind of way. So what the Lambda is telling, like AWS Lambda, let you run your code without thinking of the servers, like means serverless has been there. It's like they support .NET, Java, Node.js, Python, Ruby, like all this particular language has been supported by it. So what is the use case? So they have just provided some kind of case studies over there, like this company of Basel. So they have been using as a mobile backend part. You can build serverless web applications and backend using AWS Lambda, integrate with the API gateways, S3, Amazon DynamoDB to handle web applications. So they have just about the provided the use case studies. Then if we are talking about a pricing part, so what is the pricing part that has been working out over here? So the pricing is like for the first 1 million requests per month, that is free. First 4K GB per second per month, that's also free. But after that, requests per month, that is dollar 0.20 per 1 million, like that case. But we are not into a such scale, like we are not working on the big skills part. So we don't it's just for the good use case for the knowledge part. Okay, then moving forward, they have some documentation, some CLI, all those particular API gateway. So let's quickly go and let's quickly create a function. So once we create a function, they are provided by the part. Author from the sketch, you want to create from the sketch. If you want to use any kinds of blueprints over here, or if you want to create a container images, so we are being using from the author from the scratch. So let's give our function name as a cloud, AWS cloud testing. You can give any functions name. Then what's your runtime? You want in Python, you want in Node.js. They have Java, Node.js. They are specific with the Python version. So let's use Python 3.9. Else you can use any of the versions. I'm just going with the Python 3.9. What are the architectures you want? You want ARM64 or you want ARM 86, something like that. If you want to change any default executions rule, like behind the scene, guys, what generally happens over here, they creates a IAM roles over here. Why IAM roles have been required? Because while building the things, they will be requiring permission to access our particular services. Okay, that's why they create IAM access role over here. So what they're essentially creating a new role with the basics Lambda permissions using existing role. If you have existing role, you have to attach. If you want to create a new role policy, so you can just add the role name and you can add the template policies. What you want the policies like read only, what all those policies you want to attach. But right now we are just going with the creating with the basics Lambda policy only. Then if you want to go with the additional configurations like networking function, URI, VPCs, if you enable the VPC, we can put a particular our function into a particular VPCs. So nothing about this. And if you are using the blueprint part, so what they have been providing, so same thing like what you want to use with you on tools Python, what are those things, what's the cloud function name, same thing has been there. IAM role, cloud functions, they have been providing some kinds of loading functions. Then if we are going with the containers, we are going to talk about into the upcoming lectures, upcoming days, about our containers, how we can launch the containers, each and everything. So they are being using launching from the containers part, but right now we are just using like with the sample for the demo purpose. So let's quickly create a functions. Okay, so the function has been getting started over here. So what this generally do is doing, so Lambda don't run is on its own. It generally uses triggers but events part. Okay, so here you can check our Lambda functions been, and here you can check we have triggers, we have destinations, what all those things are been there. So let's quickly test, then we'll add the triggers part. So let's add this code and let me change some kind of samples code over here. Okay, so I'm just removing this return response. Okay, and I'm just making the JSONs part. I have not done any kind of changes. I'm just writing its code. Now what we have to do, we have to just quickly deploy. So this is terminal something like your VS Code. Okay, you also write your things into a Python. You just also write into your kinds of languages like Node.js part. So this is the look like similar to the output. Now we are quickly going to deploy our code. So the deployation's been also been started. So here you can take updating the functions, the deploy. Now we have to test this. So we have to go to the test stations part and we have to write the event name as testing. We want private or shareable, so we are just moving with the private part. We are not moving towards any kind of shareables part over here. Then what you want template will be hello world or what else. And you want to give keyword paleo. So specifically it generally if you are a Python coders or if you are looking for the specific functions part script file, so you can go and search it or you will get more things. So right now we are just going for a sample demo part. Just click on the test. Why this is giving the executions fail. Uh, there's some kinds of syntax errors. So let me quickly change the code. Okay, there's a kinds of syntax error. Let me check. Yeah, this thing will be not coming. Okay, let me again quickly deploy. So this was error in the code. Sorry, and let's quickly again come and test. Uh, Again, they have thrown some kind of errors. Mm, Let me quickly check what is exactly errors they have been providing. So let me do one thing. I already have the code with me. Let me just copy and paste the code. This is just kind of a sample codes which we generally been having. So you can just for the testing purpose. So you can just okay. Now let's quickly test and. I think they have just using some Node.js part. So let me quickly create another functions. Create from the snatch. We are just using with the Python 9. You can use any of this particular things. So I'm just using the name as a Lambda test. Nothing to be changed. Let me create another functions over here. So it depends on you what kind of functions you want to create, what kind of functions you have to test. But it's quite suitable with the Python. Like the Python has been quite easy, and if you're a developer, you have been good with the Node.js part. So you can just write some kinds of functions over there. So you can just like quickly go to the code, and once we are here at the code, and let me quickly yes, like the before one was into the Node.js part. So that's why we were unable to change the part. And let's our the code source been getting open. This Python lambda dot function has been getting up. Let's close this. Let me quickly test. Let's quickly deploy our functions. Okay, the updating, the same thing which we did last time, and we are going for the test, and we are just providing the name as a testing demo. Okay, we need private, nothing to be changes, and let's click on the test. So the execution have been successfully done. And if you check the details, yes, the status code is 200 and the body come from the logs. If you want to check with the more details part, so you can just click on the here we have got the functions logs. And if you want to monitor like how many times this functions be hit it, like what all the so here as I just discussed about the S3 part, you can integrate with the S3 part. So here whenever the person will be uploading the things, so you will get in some kinds of hit part. Okay, this functions will trigger and this persons will be able to see. So before moving forward, let's quickly go to the CloudWatch which we opened. So these are the logs group with the lambda test, and you can just open this particular log and you can check it out. Yes, like this is a start type, we run with the Python 3.9. And so these are certain kinds of logs which started, requested, and we generally run our functions. So these are the some kinds of logs we generally created. Okay, now what's happened, like suppose we have created a lambda functions. Now how to integrate, how to make the integrations part. So here we have get the triggers part. what kind of integrations you want to make. So I want to make an integrate solution supposed to the S3. Okay. So we have just created the S3. What kind of bucket? You have to create a bucket if you have. So I'm just using only the pre-created bucket right now. For the what kind of events you want. You want port, post, what kind of events you want. So I'm just taking for the just showing you as a all kind of objects. Okay, now prefix nothing. I'm acknowledge bucket from the board. I just need to quickly add on over here. Configurations admin. Okay, let me just quickly change the bucket, my 30 days cloud, and let me quickly add. Okay, I'm just okay. So this bucket it's been using somewhere. So these are the kind of triggers you generally get. So like this way, what generally happens if we upload the images, we are going, we can write some kind of functions over here. We can write some kinds of codes over here. As the image will be uploaded, it will have to be resized in such a way. So for this particular things, there's a lots of blog you are will be getting, like they have this triggers lambda on s3 put events of what all those things you they have done. So they just created first of all bucket, and moving to the bucket has been created. They just created again the functions, uploaded some kinds of images. Okay. Now what's the second step they did? They just creating a function same way we have just writing the names next and adding the some kinds of policies. So this kind of policies, they're just creating IAM roles for the executions policy. So they're just giving only Amazon S3 policy, which we discussed yesterday, like what kind of permissions should be given. Okay, just adding more kind of policies over there. Now they have just comes to the what kind of roles they are being providing. This both they just defined over there. Then they comes to the lambda functions. They are just creating a lambda functions by this particular name using the existing role, or you can just like what we did. They are just using existing role over here, but we created a new role with the basics lambda permissions over here. Okay. Now adding the triggers, which we did right now only, like here the triggers been added, and they just added some kinds of permissions, like they need only put permissions only there. They selected the S3 bucket, they acknowledge, they just added, and here now the flows will look like. And if you see in the configuration, same thing, S3 comes up over here. Okay. Now they did like properties, they are just having the push kind of event, they just added the triggers. So whenever uh, we are going to push any kinds of things, so they will be showing us or the triggers onto lambda. So this makes things a little bit complications part, but for as of now, if you are beginners and if you are like this lambda are the things which you have to get to know on your hands-on things, what generally exactly lambda do. So lambda can be triggers on like not specifically on the S3 part, it can be for the API call, API gateway, a dynamo or DB change, or a CloudWatch event, or the schedulers part. So suppose example, as I just discussed, a photo uploaded to the S3 can triggers Lambda to resize or to store the thumbnails. Okay, so Lambda best practices like keep your functions smaller and modular part. Okay, then you have to be use environmental variables for the configs. Don't hardcore secrets. Use AWS Secrets Manager. So that's all about the Lambda, AWS Lambda, which we seen how was what is the AWS Lambda and how does it can be integrated with the multiple services. So that's a quick intro to the AWS Lambda and the heart of the serverless. We saw the Lambda is what is being used and build a simple function on hands-on part. Like this way, you can just practice by yourself. You can just create. You can just use some kinds of sources, and you can use some kinds of this. You can get lots of medium blocks. You can just connect, integrate with of the functions, API gateway, S3 parse. More you will get so lots of things. So there's nothing to worry about. You can just explore by yourself. Okay. So in day 9, we'll connect about more towards AWS more services like ECRs, containerizations towards a containerization worlds. Okay. If you run your Lambda fast today, so comment me down below. Hello from the servers. Like, share, and subscribe. See you soon in day 9. If you face any queries, if you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section. See you soon in the next video.